Hello and welcome to Town Talk. I'm your host, Rose Highland-Sharpe. This very inspirational program is brought to you by Highland Communications for storytelling, entertainment, music, and much more. Call at 910-528-0718. Stay tuned for Great Women of Moore County Showcase Series Volume 1 featuring Lana Peak, her story, Part 2, and more miracles. The program was sponsored by Joy Productions, a nonprofit organization. The lead coordinator, Cynthia Walden Brown. Enjoy.
In 2005, my daughter, she was 16 years old. She was healthy all the way up to the end. Yes. On Sunday it started. Her eyes were muddy brown. By Friday she was yellow. She was yellow. Her eyes, her body. She had been to the doctor, and the doctor said, "We think it's your gallbladder." Really? I'm not a nurse or doctor, but I know when you're yellow, that means liver. They sent her home. So by Friday, she was near death. They had to airlift her on that Friday to Chapel Hill. And by Monday, they let me know that, first of all, they had to find out what was wrong. She ended up having Wilson's disease, which that causes the liver to collect copper. It wouldn't dispense it. So once it gets too much, it's toxic and it can kill you. A lot of people have died with that without knowing what even happened. She was 16, her junior year. Had to have emergency liver transplant. They told me on Monday she would have to be transplanted. By Wednesday, she had a liver. That saved her life. So for about a year or so, that initial transplant, one of the bile ducts never did heal right. So it's kind of like a root of a tree, a plant, let's say, that didn't connect and there was no blood flow. So now she has liver disease of a different kind, which caused her to decline after elevating. She ended up going that senior year, and she was on the band out there in the field. She went to band camp. She did better than some of the other kids that didn't have a transplant. But as some years went on, okay, here comes 2012. She blew up fluid. Looked like if you pinched her hard or did like that, she would burst. And they said she could have. They call it weeping, where your skin, you just got the fluid, and the fluid is in your skin. So then she went into liver failure again. And this was in November. If I had not had somebody at my house at that time, she would not be sitting here. Because I would have called the ambulance, because I wasn't able to transport her, put her in my car and take her even to First Health. But we had to take her to Chapel Hill. That's what saved her life that time. So she's in there about a month and a half. We had a couple of offers for opportunities, I should say. And unfortunately, in that kind of situation, a person has to be deceased. The first time, that donor was 36 years old and she was 16. This time, she was 25 years old, and the person was, I think, 16 in his teens. It was a male teen. So now we have organs, and because she was in there a month and a half, her liver was gone, her kidneys shut down, her blood pressure plummeted. And I had a little, I can say it today, I had a little white doctor, female, sitting across from me. She sat down and she said, she was telling me all these things that was going on. And she said, "Do you understand what I'm telling you? Do you understand what I'm saying?" And I didn't react. I heard what she said. "Do you understand what I'm saying?" So her sister from another mother said, "Are you saying she's done?" saying, well, she would have to be dead at least an hour before I would conceive. My best friend, one of my friends, said to me then, she said, in that situation, not right then, she said, Lana, what do you want? But when she said, what do you want, I almost heard God saying, what do you want?
That's it.
I said, I want her to live. For the second time.
All right now.
And that's what he did.
Yes, yes.
She was in ICU and there were people dying all around her. All around her. And even though they told us that we don't know if she'll make it through the night, she lived that night, the next night, the night after that. And so about a month and a half after that, she was able to be transplanted. And that went well. She's been doing good ever since. They left her kidneys in the back and put her new one up front. They had not usually done that. That was something new. And that's why they said they didn't think or didn't want her to have children. It would be too dangerous. When she got pregnant with him and had him, she had one of the best pregnancies, probably as good as I did. And, I didn't have no problems, and neither did she. But that wasn't nobody but God. So even in the midst of all of that, we went through it. It wasn't easy driving back and forth to Chapel Hill, staying overnight, working some too. Because I didn't have anybody in my house to pay my bills but me. So I had to pull double duty. And I asked God for strength, because that's what I needed the most. Amen. Just to be able to do that. I've had some friends that would even drive me up there, that would sit with her when I couldn't, when I was working. I've been married twice. And I have yet to have a real husband. Still working hard. Matter of fact, I had more of me then. Lord Jesus. And speaking of husbands, some women, some women look at men and they look so fine and they have this and they have that. They look at the couples, and they envy them. But some of those wives are saying, Lord, child, I wish you would take my husband. Now, I'm telling the truth. And that same token, that thing that you're looking at, you may not want him. You know what I'm saying? You just think you do. Like I said earlier, the closer you get, the more imperfections you see. Even church, when you go to church looks real good on Sunday morning. Yeah. But don't join it. Don't get in an auxiliary or organization or go to a meeting, because then you really see. Yeah. You really see how people are. Their mindsets, they're so mean, church folk. Ooh, Lord Jesus. But we're going to have to do better, because the time that we're living in right now, people are saying, Lord, I'll be glad when we get back to normal. I don't think that's going to happen. Get used to change. If you're not used to change, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time. I know some of y'all, maybe not y'all, but some of y'all probably had a problem with the song that I played coming out. He told me I could have played a gospel song. I didn't want to. And the reason I did this because that song right there, one of those days that I was driving back from Chapel Hill by myself, half asleep, down, I won't say depressed, but at least down, tired. I was going through the radio and that song came on. And I hadn't heard it before. I've been in the club. I was young. I did stuff. I heard it. But this time I listened to the words. and lyrics are very important. Some people talk about secular music. What is that? What's secular music? My father was a musician, played the piano real well. He taught music. We grew up with music. Music without words is just that. It's instrumental. It's music. It's when you put the words to it. So this gospel, so-called gospel music, is trash today. It doesn't move you. It doesn't do anything to you. I love God. You love God? Sound like you're playing a game. It's the words. My motto right now is keep it moving. Because if you don't, the enemy is going to overtake you. The depression will crush you. Some of y'all want to do things. You might want to write a book. You might want to go back to school. Maybe you want to get married. Start a new business. Just have some peace, go traveling. But those things sound simple, don't they? How come you're not doing it? How come you're not doing this? Hello? Is it because you don't have the support? Maybe financially, or somebody say, girl, you go ahead, you can do it. Because sometimes you have to do that to yourself. Because some of your friends, your family and stuff like that, some of the things that you want to do, they're not going to agree with you. Girl, if I were you, I would. You going to do that? You going to do what? Speaking of that, I went to Peru in 2016 at the end of my marriage to a preacher. And if I didn't have a strong background, if I didn't love God the way I do, I'd be lost. I'd be lost in that situation. But anyway, going through that, upcoming elections, 2016, remember? Upcoming elections. Going through a bad marriage, had a business, had folks sitting in the back talking about me. And I knew that naturally so and also spiritually so. Sometimes I hear things in the spirit. Sometimes you might be talking to me and you're telling me one thing, which is usually a lie. And the spirit will tell me the truth. Wow, you are speaking. So naturally that's going to change my mood. I can see my smile fading. Because out of all the things that I do and have done for you, you do me like that. Wow. So I was fed up that year. Matter of fact, it started in 2015. I was fed up. I was tired. After going through a situation like that with my daughter, tired of working every day, standing on my feet, dealing with some folk who were ornery. You know I deal with people, right? Some of them I love dearly. Some I was hoping they'd go find somewhere else. And I was tired. And I told the Lord, I said, Lord, I don't want to be here anymore. Some people might have been to a point of suicide. I didn't want to be in the U.S. anymore because I didn't agree with us. The way things were done, and then I feared, and I feared some things upcoming. So while I was talking to a friend of mine, hey Cheryl, I told her that day, I said, when I say my prayers tonight, I'm going to ask God where He wants me to go. So while we continued to talk that day, the word Peru fell out of my mouth. I was like, Peru? Where did it come from? Peru? So I don't even know what I was saying at that time, but I went back to my conversation. After we finished, after I left her, I heard Peru, Peru, like a song playing. And when I got home that evening, my daughter was there, and I was telling her about my day. And she said, we watch HGTV all the time, and so she said, Mama, guess where that couple is from? I said, where? She said, Peru. Peru. I was like, Lord, but that's your confirmation? I didn't know anything about Peru. I didn't know anybody there. Couldn't hardly speak Spanish. Who goes to Peru for 6 months? Who sails and gives away? Mostly give away. Who sails and gives away all your earthly possessions to go to a country you know nothing about? But because I asked God and he told me where to go, I went. And at that time, I didn't know that she was going to want to go with me. I didn't even think about that. She was like, Mom, I want to go too. And Alonio, that's his name. Alonio was 4.5 months, almost 5 months when we left here. 5-month-old grandson and a daughter, Lord Jesus, going to a country that you don't know nothing about. Who does that? Who does that? Who said that? Lana. You got that right. But if somebody had told me I would do that, matter of fact, a lot of the things that I have done, if somebody would have, just like this right here, if somebody had told me, girl, you would stand up in front of people talking, you know, stuff like that, I would not have believed them. And when I got to Peru, and we connected with the ministry, so I didn't just go to, down there blind. Because I told the Lord, I said, I don't want to just go, I need a connection. Connected with the ministry, Peru missions. Yep, good people. And we went. They stayed 3 months, I stayed 6, and didn't care if I came back. When I went over there, I had plenty of money. When I got ready to come back, I almost had none. I didn't have none in the bank. I ain't have none under my pillow, in my shoe, in my suitcase. You hear me? I had about 3 or 4 pair of shoes, which were sandals, summer clothes. I had a lot of stuff when I left and went over there, but by the time I came back, and I had to get on Spirit Airlines. Don't y'all fly Spirit unless you got some money. They won't let you take water or nothing else on the plane. You got to buy everything. And if your luggage is overweight, you won't pay for it. So since I didn't have any extra money, I took out my nice towels. I had just bought my sheets. I put them in the trash can at the airport so I could come home. One of my girlfriends told me while I was there, because I really wasn't ready to come back. I could have taught English. I had a couple of opportunities to stay and teach English. And she told me, she said, Lana, you need to just come on back home. She didn't know anything. I told nobody nothing, none of my problems. Did I? No. Y'all didn't know I was broke. You did because I asked, y'all blessed me. Okay? Nobody knew it. And the second part of the last month that I stayed there, God knew. He didn't allow me to pay $1 to stay where I stayed. Not $1. They wouldn't let me pay for the lights. But he knew. So my girlfriend said, Lana, just come on back home. We have a class reunion next in a couple of months or next year sometime, And you just need to come on back. You can stay with me, she said. So she said that, and I said, well, let me think about it, and I'll let you know. I thought about it. I talked to God about it. He let me know it's time. It's time. And the very things that I needed when I left, which was acceptance, love, so I could just be myself. When I went over there, nobody knew or cared who Lana was. didn't know what my past was like and didn't care. I wasn't persecuted because of this right here. Because there's plenty of them over here, this color and darker, for their Peruvians. They just loved me. And I told them, you know, I just love y'all, and you know, the way you treat me and stuff. And one person told me, she said, but it's the way you are and the way you treat us, that's why. So I was appreciated. And we need to be in the midst of people that appreciate us and not tolerate us. It feels good. So what I went for, I got. And it was almost, somebody would have thought I was running away, but no, I was running to something. So since she said that, I called her. You know how some people say, I'll do this and I'll do that for you, but when you call them, they're busy and stuff like that. And, oh, girl, you know. But she didn't do that. She said, nope, come on. And when I went, I stayed with her. She wouldn't let me pay her anything. I didn't have a car. I had called up for it, and before I left, I called for it, and I told them, if you need to come get your car, I had a beautiful cranberry 2016 red Fusion. It was a cranberry Fusion. I had it almost a year. I called for it, and I said, y'all need to come pick up my car. I'm going out of the country. So when I came back, I didn't have a car. I had a few pair of shoes. It was at the end of October, and it was kind of chilly. I didn't have a coat. And I know I gave away about 5 or 6 nice coats before I left. I went over to Goodwill and was able to get a London Fog, a pink London Fog for $18. I was happy to have that coat. I left a business. I turned my business over to somebody else. They're still running. They're still doing it. God bless them. And I called Tanya up at T&S Beauty Supply. If y'all need some supplies, y'all please go. Right, matter of fact, right over there, and get your beauty supplies, okay? Black-owned business. I told her I was coming back, and do you have anything? Do you have a spot for me? She said, you know, I was getting ready to turn my office into a station. And she did that. I stayed there 5 years. When I went, I didn't know how long I would be there. I was in a room, a little room. I just opened my new salon in June. It's beautiful. Y'all come see me. It's a parlor. It's in Pinehurst Plaza, right off 5, okay? Close to Food Lion in the Bowling Alley Shopping Center. Come see me. If you don't do nothing, come in and say, hey. I'm not trying to take y'all from nobody. Just come see me. Say, hey. Be inspired. And all this money they've been giving out, and it was tax time, I used that money wisely. That's what helped me to do that. And I was able to decorate it and do it the way I wanted to. Keep it moving. Don't be afraid. God hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and sound mind. And that sound means with determination, being steadfast, unmovable, no matter what it looks like. Because it can look like a whole lot of things. You can't give in to that. No matter what the doctor said. And I thought I was almost finished, and I just thought about something. So last year, matter of fact, in 2019, my mother and my grandmother died at the age of 60. So I was in fear of. Here I come up, you know, years ago, it was like 11 years, and it was 5 years, and ooh, I was like, oh Lord, next year I'll be 60 years old, Jesus. And that was one of my prayers. I wanted to be able to live longer than 60. They both died at the age of 60, couldn't see 61. 2019, God blessed me to write a book. Didn't know I was going to do that. I did. It came out in the beginning of November. My birthday was at the end of November, and then that February. And I think is that when I turned 60? I think I did. And maybe 61. Anyway, 19. And in 20, in February of 20, right before COVID hit, right? I was diagnosed with cancer, multiple myeloma cancer, bone marrow cancer, stage 1. Nobody that I know of in my family has ever had cancer. So when I was told that, I went home in my room, sat down, I had a conversation with God. I told him I was not ready to go. I had things to do. And he let me know right then, I got you. You're going to be okay. So I had no fear. I didn't cry. None of that. I told my daughter, and I only told a couple of people. I didn't tell many people. So then, that was February. So in March, I started my treatment. I got a shot in the belly once a week. I was able to eat, drink, go, work, do whatever I wanted to do. I was good. They shut us down, sent us to the house for 3 months. I didn't work. I didn't get upset. God told me, he said, go get some cannabis. I said, okay, I can do that. When I went to Michael's, that's the first thing I saw, right in the front, I call it the vestibule, right in the front. Plenty of cannabis everywhere for $10.99. And it was anywhere from 3 to 5 canvases in one bundle for $10.99. I got me some canvas, went to the house, started painting. That wasn't the first time, but we did a different type of painting. I was able to sell most of those paintings. Our nurses were some of the first people to buy our stuff. My brother came over, matter of fact, he bought 3 of them from me. He said, I know you're making some masks. I said, making masks? No, I'm not. Why not? So my question to myself was, why not? I started doing that too. I sold them. Those things paid my bills. And most of us, we need to stop telling our children that you need to go to school, get good grades, and go get a good job. We need to quit that. Yes. Our children, God gives us, again, he gives us everything we need. If I didn't go get a skill or anything like that, the stuff he already put in me, he let me know that during COVID. Yes. I've been drawing since I can remember. I can look at something and draw it. Never had a class. She's done art. She has been through art class and can draw way better than me. But it's in us. It's in our blood. Poor painting is just something anybody can do. What we did, because you manipulate it. You don't have to have the skill. But Lord knows that, like I said, if you do anything and you make some money off of it, if you can sell it and make $1, then you become a professional at that. So I am a professional artist. And some of y'all cook real good. You give away all your meals. If you ever get in a bind, start selling them. Really? For real. But our children, if you notice, some of them start drumming early. They're doing things that they do and they like it. But yet we tell them, go get a job. Go work for somebody else and make your money. When they can make doing what they love.
That's right.
When Cynthia asked me to show up, Lana Peak showed up. And I say that to say this, because it made me think about who I used to be. Who I used to be before children. I can sew. I wanted to be a fashion designer, but I was afraid to go. I would have to go to New York by myself. I know nothing about New York. Didn't have nowhere to stay. I even had an opportunity to go. Because I can draw clothes and I can make clothes. So when she said, come, I thought, oh, I can make my outfit. I didn't make this, but I tweaked it, okay? And I did make my mask. And I was going to make an outfit, but I decided, no, I'm not. Because it was going to be stressful. I don't do it for stress. I don't like to put on buttons. I don't like to put in zippers and repair hems and holes and stuff like that. I don't like to repair. I like to create.
All right.
And when I get started, I finish it.
All right.
So my main thing today for you all is to encourage you. If it's been something in your spirit to do, if God has been whispering to you, and some people say, well, I don't know if God wants me to. If you thought about it and it's good, it's God. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about the money. I ain't got no money either, and I opened 2 shops. 2009, when they say we were in a depression, really? I didn't know it. Nobody told me. And again, somebody in the back in the wings talking about, girl, you should. Somebody said I shouldn't. Now, we're in the middle of a pandemic. And if you're not close enough to him to hear him, get closer. The Bible, the physical Bible that you read, that word, is good. But remember, man wrote it back then. He's been writing it since then. He's writing it and changing it now. You need a fresh word. You need a word in your ear. There are things going on now that a lot of people are not even paying attention to. My God. And some people, I know I've been hearing about end times and Antichrist and mark of the beast ever since I can remember. Do y'all know we in that right now? Did y'all know that?
Yes, we are.
You cannot follow other people. Don't look to preachers or any other man for your guidance. Look to your maker, to your creator, the person that you serve. If you ask him a question, he will answer you. And if he hasn't, you wait and you keep asking him until he does. Whether it's audible or just in your spirit, and stop saying, Lord, is this you? But that's where we have to get. Because that's where we are. And the things that people are doing, people in power, it's already started. Don't be so gullible. You say, I trust God. Do you really?
That's right.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
I know what God told me concerning vaccinations.
That's right.
Come on.
Yep. And I'm not just talking about COVID. Screw COVID. Y'all were going through COVID when I was going through cancer. I put that on the back burner. If you will boost your own immune system, the first way we can do that is stop eating this meat that we eat, that y'all love, that fried chicken and pork chops and all that bacon. I used used to love it too, but as of June 18th,
That's right.
and it will be hard for some people because it is another addiction. That's another form of addiction. I'm addicted to sweets, unfortunately. But I'm getting ready to lay them down too. I've done it before. But that's the first thing. I'm not trying to be hard. You can wean yourself. Instead of eating meat 3 times a day, knock it down to 1. Instead of eating 3 types of meat at a meal, knock it down to 1. Instead of eating 3 pieces of chicken, eat 1. Because you know what it's going to do for you. The obvious one is going to help you lose some weight, and just about everybody in here need to do that. Just about. But another thing it's going to do is lower your blood pressure, bring down your cholesterol, your diabetes, your migraines, your acne, all that stuff. That's the first way to boost your immune system. Leave them hot dogs alone. That processed meat. So when I went through cancer, they did tell me, but don't eat processed food. But you really shouldn't eat red meat either. Not with all that glue in it and all that dye that they put on that red meat y'all eat. Turn it off, please. Because it's killing us. God gave us instruction on what we should eat way back in the Old Testament. Vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans, things that grow in the ground.
Yes, yes.
Somebody told me, Lord knows she's sick and she can be. Told me, she said, girl, you need some meat though. You need to eat some meat. No, I don't. Your protein comes from beans and the other sources and some vegetables. And if you don't believe anything I say, go research it. If you have a question, my number, please contact me. We can talk. I don't have no problem with it. I can help you. Natural supplements, best thing in the world. Let's stop depending on medications. What will happen if you can't have your medicine? Something you take every day, and my doctor said this, and my doctor. What will happen when you can't get it? Are you going to die because you've been dependent on your medicine? Some of you will, yeah, unfortunately, because you're dependent on it. I just laid down something already myself. I'm not going to pick it back up because it's been killing me. It'll fix one thing. And y'all know that from the commercials. They'll say, if you have this, take this. But the side effects are this long, and sound like to me the side effects do you more harm than the situation. Really? My daughter needs hip replacement surgery right now. Been needing it for about 3 good years. She had an issue for 5. And it's because of the medication she's been on, anti-rejection drugs, that have deteriorated her bones. Was supposed to be on cancer medicine that can supposed to retard or keep. Oh, and I'm cancer free, by the way. Okay. I have to say that. Been cancer free since October. I was bald headed this time last year. My hair is that long right now. But cancer drugs cause other cancers. I don't want that. If you eat right, it'll take care of any virus and any cancer. If you don't believe it, do some research. And talk to some people that have gone through that. I remember in the hospital when I had my stem cell replacement, I had that. My body wanted fruits and vegetables only. I was paying attention. Those were the things I couldn't even have right there because my body had to be, my immune system had to be built back up first before I could have that because there's too much bacteria on fruits and raw vegetables. So the very thing in salads, the very thing that my body was craving, and I was paying attention, and I really thought seriously about not eating meat then, but I took my time eating it, but I ended up doing it. But just recently, and I didn't have to really ask God because he already told me what to do. I just decided it. And the reason I decided is because I don't want my body to depend on medication. They're making so much money off of us. They even tell some people that, oh, you're this age, I don't know why you're not on blood pressure medicine. I don't know why you don't have diabetes. Really? So many things they can cure, but they rather treat. There's no money in the cure.
That's right. That's right.
Some people are probably upset with me right now because I look good, I feel good, I'm not sick no more, and I realize that they have had people that have left here because of something. I had a real good friend before I was diagnosed with cancer. Real good friend of mine died with cancer. And then when I found out about myself, I didn't know she was near death. She thought she beat it. That was the last word I got. I tried to get up with her and was wondering why I didn't hear from her. But it was because she had gotten sick again. But I'm walking in my healing. I'm going to continue to walk in my healing. But my doctor told me up in Chapel Hill about a month ago, say, I want you to stay on that chemo pill. At first they said a year. Year came over a year. Year came, but now we want you to stay on it 2 years. We normally do 2. And I told him a long time ago, I'm not normal. So don't judge me on mine, just me. Don't put me in a basket, I don't belong there. A lot of the things that they told me I would experience with that chemo, I did not, because I didn't accept it. I said, no, I'm not. And if whether I said it verbally like that, or in my spirit, no, I won't. And I told God in the beginning, I said, you know how I feel about chemo and radiation? I don't want it. But they say I'll be in hospice in a year, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. But let my body receive all the good that it has and let all the bad fall to the ground. So that's what happens. We have supplements back there. I'm not trying to sell nothing, but I have a company. I'm in a company. Felicia's here. And y'all set up. I have a couple of business partners here in Atomy. Next stuff comes out of Korea. Thank you. And my team made sure I had hemoheme. That's what it is. It was formulated for cancer. Talking about the hemoglobin. That's exactly what I needed for my blood. It regulates your blood. It boosts your immune system. So the knockdown that they thought I was going to have, I didn't. And when I got out of the hospital, instead of going home, staying home for 3 months, I went right out, went to the store. I did anything I wanted to do. I was going out the house more than she was. In the midst of the virus. We don't know what is true. The things that they tell us, how do we know? We don't.
That's right. Yeah, we will.
What is your motivation for the things that you're doing that you're telling us?
That's right.
Those are the questions y'all need to be asking somebody. Any medicine they give you, make sure you ask them what it is and why. Don't just take it. That's why we're sick. That's why we're sick. They lied us a long time ago. 5 food groups. Then I think they changed it to 6. What do we need milk for? I'm serious. Beyond the stage for baby, what do we need milk for? Especially when we're drinking cow's milk.
Calcium.
Calcium? Take a calcium vitamin. Yeah. Calcium vitamin. There you go. Thank you, baby. And calcium is in green leafy vegetables. We don't need milk. That's why most of y'all got gas. You can't even drink milk no more. And I know that because I did. That's why we're the lactose free. Yeah, some of y'all all cramped up and hurt because you ate some ice cream, all bloated. And I promise you, when you quit eating meat, I don't get bloated, I don't get gassy. My poop still stinks though because I was taking that chemo pill. But after a while, that's gonna be okay too. Okay, what you say?
I said milk take the calcium out your bones.
Does it?
Right.
Oh my God.
That's why you have osteoporosis.
Jesus. They got a pill for that too, don't they?
Yep.
And a shot. They do. So I'm trying to help somebody today. And like I said, if you have a question about anything, my God, and share the information, just like I'm just sharing with you because I always try to help. Heart disease and all that kind of stuff, we don't have to have it. We don't have to have it. Church people are the sickest people in this world. You go to church, the sickest shut-in list is so long and getting longer. As soon as we leave church, we go get us some fried chicken and all the other garbage. Good old mac and cheese drink, you know. But we have to take better care. We only get one of these right here. These things right here, this here. We only get one. We're not rich enough to get another one. We don't have enough money to do that. Thank God for the organs. But if enough people don't donate organs. So that's another thing I usually ask people too. If you're not a donor, please be one. You can save people's lives. They need your skin, your eyes, and any internal organ. People need those. You don't need it no more because you're gone. So help somebody else. I don't hear the Spirit saying anything else. So you all be blessed. I love you. I appreciate the people that came out for me. I appreciate the people who have supported me over all these years. Some of you is the reason my bills got paid when I wasn't working. When I went through cancer, I had to stay home for 3 months. 6 months in 2020, I did not work. I had more money in the bank than I did working. If you're not a giver, start giving. Do it freely. And Malachi 3:10 says, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse. You are the storehouse. Did y'all know that? You are the storehouse. You are the church.
That's right.
He wants us to have something that we can share and give to somebody else. It's not about one place, 4 walls that take your money and can't help nobody. It's not about that. But we are the church. And if you want to do what Jesus did, what does Jesus do? Jesus will go to you. He comes to you wherever you are. He don't stand one place and come to me, my child. He comes to you. He meets you where you are with your drunk self, with your overdose self. And don't be upset when you see me talking to somebody you think I shouldn't. You don't know what we're talking about. That's right. Mind your business. Stop being so judgmental. Get out folks' business. Mind your own. Get you some if you don't have none. But for real, church is not going to be the same. Church is not the same. It's not. People are doing all kinds of things these days. Right is wrong and wrong is right. Isn't that something? Yes, it is. Wow. And they changed some of the scriptures. If you take that word no out, then it becomes something else. So now it's given permission to do something because you don't see that word no. Keep all those things in mind. Get close enough to God to hear him. God and Yah, Yeshua, Jesus. Get close enough. The Most High, whatever you have to call it. We have to be there. And you'll find that he's not as strict or as stiff as we want to make him be. His ways truly are not ours.
Not at all.
Be you. And be happy to be you. Be the best you that you can be, because that's going to make you feel better. Because when you compare yourself to somebody else, you might fall short.
You will.
Amen.
So you all be blessed. May God continue to bless and keep you. I had already prayed. I know we're in this place and y'all worried about the virus, but you're shielded. I already did that. You're shielded. That's the only reason I allow my grandchildren to be in here today. I trust God. Sometimes you have to just throw your hands up and let him do it.
Amen.
He can do it way better than you. You may not like it, but it's going to be better for you. So I thank you. Appreciate you all staying and listening. May God bless and keep you. And don't leave yet, because you get ready to do another raffle. And somebody gonna win some money. Bless you. Thank you so much.
That was so beautiful. She told us, shared many things, but one of the best things that she shared of everything, she told us to have faith. She told us to be strong and believe. She said, don't be afraid to try. She said, who are you? She said, is there something that you want to do, that you want to accomplish? She said, what are you waiting for? She said everything that she wanted to do, she did with God's blessing, she did it. Who goes to, what's the name of that country? Who goes to Peru? And has never been there, can't speak Spanish. I can't speak Spanish. But courage allowed her to do that. Faith allowed her to do that. And thank God she was here to give us this beautiful message today. Thank you, Lana. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, real quickly, because our time is winding down for the center, does anyone have any pressing comments or questions for Lana before we move on? Yes, ma'am.
First and foremost, I just want to say I am grateful to hear your testimony. How did you get beyond, I ask people this all the time, how did you get beyond worrying about the impressions of others and just be you? I mean, you said a question was asked and you were looking at yourself, you stepped outside of yourself and you saw how you responded, but you couldn't really answer the question at first until years later. But how do you get to the point of just being comfortable being you? I mean,
It took a long time. I used to put other people first. I worried more about somebody else's feelings. I put me on the back burner. I do a lot for a lot of people. Some things I didn't really want to do, but I did anyway. But it was in most recent years that I decided that. because I was tired. You know, you give, give, give. A lot of times it's not appreciated anyway. And I got tired of trying to be what people thought I should be. It was uncomfortable. It was a lot of work. So I'm just me. And if we all would do that, you feel much better. We've been in such a box. We've had so many restrictions, so many chains. They say salvation is free, but the people keep you locked up. So it was recent.
Oh, thank you about the knowledge about the food and stuff. You confirmed a lot of stuff I've already heard, but yeah, you making me get on the bandwagon a little bit more, be persistent about it.
Good. Anybody that can help, I will. If I go to a restaurant and like the food, I talk about it. Ooh, girl, you need to go. So it's the same kind of thing. If I'm learning something, I want to share it. And we need to be healthier. And I deal with young and old people. I do hair, so a little bit of everything, everybody. And a lot of people talk to me and confide in me. And I've learned a lot of things from other people, not my own personal experiences so much.
My question, Ms. Lana, thank you for your wonderful story and presenting your beautiful family before me. I really appreciate it. But my question to you is, prior to you initially starting your entrepreneurship and having the ambition to start your entrepreneurship, how do you decipher the conforming manner of approach as opposed to accepting a person? Sometimes a person can come to me and they can tell me something, and I may not necessarily agree, but I'll do it because I want to subject myself to respect. So how did you identify that fine line of deciphering whether it's conforming to their demands, or is it taught respect?
For me, I don't do much. A lot of times I go against the grain. I've been like that. I'm strong-willed and things like that. So if I get an idea, and for me, I don't think about the negative side. Other people bring that to me. I just go for it. If it's something that's in me to do, I do it. Sometimes I've had to wait because I didn't have the money or whatever. And sometimes you need knowledge too, knowledge and wisdom. So if it's something you think you want to do, get some education in it, and then go for it. And if you don't have the money, then let God, in His time, and He'll give it to you.
So is it developing better strength of character? So that's
yeah. And the more you go through, the better you'll be able to. I'm strong, way stronger now than I was 10 years ago because I've been through so much. Even going through suffering and things like that. Some things just don't bother you as much. And the people who don't go through much, when it hits them, it's hard. And these things have been hard for me too, but it depends on how everything starts in your mind. So you have to decide how you're going to handle it.
One last question. I'm sorry, one last question. Do you have a mentorship group for young people? I know you talk to people a lot because you do hair, but
I'm also a life coach too, so.
That's what I want to do. Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your questions. Good questions. And yes, I'm right on time with Lana about the health situations because a lot of what society tells us, the commercials tell us, they'll do you in before they'll help you about certain medications. So she's right on time with that. She's become an expert at the medical field because of her experience. Right, Lana? Okay, fun time. We need those tickets. We got a $100 bill we want to give away. a really joyous, insightful day to share our time with dear Lana. Give her a hand one more time. We'd like to close the event with a prayer, but our sister Crystal, or Minister Crystal, she had to depart. Is there, you want to do it, Lana? Okay, Lana's going to say our closing prayer.
Let's all stand. And I do have some books back there for sale if anyone wants to get one. They're $16. Oh, Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you now. Our hearts are so full of thanksgiving. Well, thank you for this group of people that came out tonight for a word. I thank you for the word that you have imparted in me to give to them. Let your word be manifest in the name of Yeshua. Lord, I thank you for all your blessings. I ask that you cover each and every person in here as they go to their destinations. Protect them also, Father, dealing with any sickness or virus or anything like that, and take away all fear. Give them what they need to keep it moving. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the blessed Holy Ghost. In the name of Yeshua, I pray. And it is so.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Town Talk. I'm Rose Highland-Sharpe, and as always, I hope you enjoy the show. And honey, remember, some way by God's grace and mercy, if you're walking the walk, you'll be on Town Talk. Take care. God bless. Town Talk airs daily at 11 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. and other times noted in the evening on WYBE TV Spectrum Cable 3, Southern Pines, North Carolina, and on Rose Highland-Sharpe YouTube 24 hours a day. It is a service to the community.